We're always told to watch out for the loudest person in the room, right? The one who never stops talking. But what if we've been looking at the wrong person all along? What if the real power, the real danger, belongs to the one who says nothing at all? Today, we're going to break down the psychology of why the most patient person in the room is the one you should truly be watching. So it's really easy to get this wrong. We see someone who's quiet and we think, oh, they're passive, or they're unsure of themselves, maybe even they're weak. But the psychological reality? Well, that's a whole different story. What you think is passivity is actually observation. What looks like uncertainty is them processing information. And what you mistake for weakness, that's strategy. And this is the absolute key right here. Their silence is not an empty space. Oh no, it's a laboratory. While everyone else is just broadcasting their every thought and feeling, the quiet person is in full-on data collection mode. They are using that silence as a weapon, and we're about to show you exactly how. First up, and you've got to understand this, they had the receipts. And I'm not talking about holding a grudge. This is something far more calculated. This is about collecting data with terrifying precision. There's actually a name for this skill. It's called Observational Intelligence. It's this uncanny ability to gather and interpret all the little signals that the rest of us just completely miss. Think about it like this. While a normal conversation is happening on the surface, they are running a much deeper, completely different analysis in the background. So what are they actually looking for? Well, they're not just hearing your words, no way. They're tracking the little shifts in your tone. They're noticing your body language. They're picking up on your hidden agendas. And maybe the most important thing of all, they're identifying your behavioral patterns over time. And this is why, when they finally do react, it can feel so sudden and so extreme to you. But see, in their mind, it's not about the one thing you just did. Not at all. It's a perfectly logical response to a pattern of behavior they have been meticulously documenting for weeks, months, maybe even longer. All right, let's move on to the second mechanism. And this one is genuinely unnerving. We're talking about the danger of the pause. The superpower they're using here is something called cognitive inhibition. It's this incredible mental ability to just stop, to completely override that immediate emotional fight or flight impulse and instead choose a deliberate, reasoned response. It's all about creating a space between what happens to them and what they do about it. So think about it. Most of us go straight from step one, the provocation, to an immediate emotional reaction, right? But the patient observer, they insert that crucial second step, the pause. And in that pause, they aren't just taking a deep breath. Oh no. They are evaluating, strategizing, and deciding on the single most effective response, not just the one that feels good in the moment. And this is why their anger is so terrifying. It's not a loss of control, it's actually a release of control. When they finally raise their voice, it's because they've run the numbers and calculated that this is the most effective tool for this specific moment. Their anger is never an accident, it's a decision. Okay, so we've seen how they play defense. But what happens when they go on the offense? Well, that brings us to point number 3. Sometimes silence isn't just silence, it's a trap. This tactic is called a detachment response. By saying absolutely nothing in a really tense moment, they create a conversational vacuum. And psychologically speaking, we are hardwired to hate a vacuum. Seriously, most people just can't handle it. When they're met with a wall of silence, they get nervous. They start talking and talking. They start justifying themselves, over-explaining everything. And that's when it happens. They reveal their true motives, their insecurities, their weaknesses, all without the quiet person having to say a single word. And the brutal outcome here? They don't even have to attack you. They just create the perfect conditions for you to defeat yourself. They just sit back and watch, patiently, as you reveal everything they need to know. So what happens when they finally do decide to speak, when they stop observing and start talking? That brings us to number 4, precision over volume. And the contrast here is just night and day. A loud emotional reaction is all about volume, emotion, a ton of filler words, but not a lot of substance. The quiet person's response, though? That's a verdict. Because they speak so rarely, their words have scarcity value. They're not just words. They are precise, logical, and they carry an incredible amount of weight. And their words land with such force because they're not just random emotional jabs. No,
After all that time spent analyzing you, they don't bother attacking the surface of your argument. They go straight for its flawed foundation. They attack your logic using the very data you handed them.
And this all leads us to our final mechanism, the one that really reframes this whole personality type. Let's call it the pressure cooker. Now, whatever you do, don't mistake their composure for a lack of feeling. It is the exact opposite. It's a mastery of something called emotional regulation. Trust me, they feel everything, but they process it internally. Psychologists sometimes even call this stress inoculation. It's like they've trained themselves to stay calm under fire. But here's the thing about a pressure cooker. Every single one has a limit. And because they've done all that internal processing, when they finally decide a line has been crossed for good, the decision is final. There's no negotiation. The reaction is absolute. And often, it means they are done with you, completely and permanently. So, let's put this all together. What is the fundamental difference we're looking at here? Let's get to the final verdict. It really just boils down to this. The loud person, they react to the single moment. Their whole mode is just impulsive broadcasting. But the patient observer, they're playing a totally different game. They react to the entire pattern. And their mode isn't a reaction, it's a calculated verdict delivered only after the trial has already concluded in their mind. So if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. They didn't stay quiet because they were afraid of you. They stayed quiet because they were studying you. And now that they understand you, now they can dismantle you. It kind of changes how you look at things, doesn't it? The next time you're in a meeting or at a party, you might just find yourself paying a little less attention to the person yelling and a whole lot more to the one who's just quietly watching. So the question I'll leave you with is this. Who will you be watching?